All right, y'all. So let's talk power systems for this Chefstemp Breezo, however you want to pronounce it. This cover comes off, so it's magnetic. So I put a decal on there. That's where my daughter goes to college, but that way you can see it running when we do tests and whatnot. And so there's that. This is controlled by your Chefstemp S1. When it calls for, through the app, when it calls for heat, it will turn the fan on and the fan will kick on, stoking your fire and raising your temperature. When temperature that you have set is met, this tells it to shut off. So anyway, we're going to talk about this. This does not have there is no battery system in this. So you have to run an external power source. And it plugs into this USB-C here on the back. Either one. So right out of the box, it tells you that you could run it with this. The ProT 1 tower. Now this is great. You have an inlet, so if this is low, you can charge it. But on the other side, this is where your selector is. This is your power button. This is your selector to go through the channels. There's an output. That output, you can run a USB-C to a USB-C and run it. Secondly, it comes with all the cords, a USB regular to a USB-C. It comes with that. It also comes with a USB-C to USB-C, so you don't have to worry about cables. But it also comes with a charging block. This is not the block. It's a white one. And my kids found it and borrowed it, and I haven't seen it in months. But anyway, so a regular USB block to an outlet will work just fine. Which leads to this here. You could run a standard drop cord outside, plugged into the wall, plug into your block, and then run your USB cable. Works just fine. I have had no issues with that at all. Now let's move over here to the power banks. We have plenty of these. I mean, everybody's got them. You pick them up pretty cheap. Like this is a Harbor Freight one for like $5 or $10. Not too bad price wise. These are older ones, and when I ran them with the fan, at first I was like, yes, it works, because it's USB regular to a USB-C, so it works, and it does. But what I found was when my temperature was met and the fan shut off for an extended period of time, I don't know the exact time, but let's just say 10 minutes, right? Then this says, oh, this is your, like say your cell phone, it's saying, oh, it's charged, it doesn't need any more power. So this goes into what they call a sleep mode, or what I call a sleep mode, and it will not run when this calls for power. Now, I actually had a cook, and that's how I discovered it, where my temperature dropped 50 degrees. The S1 says it needs fan, and the fan's supposed to be running, but the fan's not running. So I come out and I switched the cables on the back from one to the other, and it ran until the fan shut off, and then I caught it when it dropped 30 degrees that time. So I came out and I just hit the power button and it started back up. So that told me that there was something going on in that. And then a buddy of mine came over, brought his power brick that's newer, and we had the same problem. The same thing came up. So that's where these are good for short term, but over a long cook, I found issues. So I've put these aside, even though they're a good option. If you're going to be out there watching it, and you're able to don't mind walking out and hitting it, like say you're camping or you're at a barbecue competition or something like that where you're not around a power source, these will work. Just keep in mind they may go into sleep mode and you may have to go hit the button every time you watch your temperature drop. So set your alarms on that one. Now next up is a system that I had built for a pre-existing fan. We had made our own DIY fan system, and we use this battery. It is like a deer feeder battery, and basically it fits inside this ammo can. I have a little notch cut out in there, and I got some stuff in there so it doesn't move around. But the cables come out of there, and basically your red, your black cables go up to this cigarette lighter, 12-volt cigarette lighter. Pick these up, and then you drop in a USB cigarette lighter adapter, and boom, now I would have power to whatever I plug in. So my USB to USB-C works, plugs right in, and then I would have continuous power straight from the battery. And as the fan calls to shut on and off, it would do that because it has continuous power. So that is a great option for a DIYer. So then the next thing that came up, I saw a video where a guy used one of these and was wondering, he ran a pellet grill off of it, but it was a different name brand. And I said, So I'd recently just got into this Ryobi 1 Plus system. So I was like, well, that looks pretty cool. And for about 50 bucks, you could buy just this. If I ordered online, but my store didn't have that. They had the kit that came with a 1.5 amp hour battery, a cable, a charging block, and the inverter for 100 bucks. So when you add it all up, I think it was okay. But it does run, so you could run the battery, right? So it's a half charge right now. But you can run a 120, so you could run this block if you needed to. You can run USB ports if you need to. It has a light for like in the dark, so you could turn this on and there's a light, so you can see in the dark. Nice, huh? Let's just cut that off. And then there's a USB-C on the back. So if you only have C to C cables, you can still charge, run your fan. You have USB to USB-C, still run your fan. If you want to use the block because the kids need to charge their stuff, then you can do that. Fantastic option. And it supplies continuous power, just like this does. And hey, the kit that I got that came with the cables and the block also charges your battery. So if you plug it in this way, I mean, you can look it up, but the kit that I got will charge the battery also and run whatever out of here. So that is a great option if you already have power tools and you want to get into something like that. All right, y'all, so I hope that answers a few questions. These are just different power supplies that I have tried. If you've tried something else, feel free to leave it in the comments. And if you have a better idea or a different solution, kick it around. Let's share it, and we'll see what happens. We'll kick it around. Maybe we'll use it. So anyway, that's all I got. Y'all have a great one, and rock on.